Our tale begins in a crumbling future where a young girl clutches a damaged stuffed dog. Saddened by the tear, she hesitates, but her mother suggests throwing it away, insisting that once patched, it'll look ugly. After all, they can easily afford a new one. Although the girl has grown fond of it, she agrees to discard it, swayed by her mother's harsh view. The mother then tosses the toy in with the day's garbage, dumping it into the disposal system connected to the city's underground waste network. As the trash is swept away via a chute and loaded onto a disposal vehicle bound for the city's massive junkyard, a cloaked observer watches from afar. His eyes burn with resentment for those who so carelessly toss aside what once held value. As the truck heads into the depths, another hooded figure silently follows. Not long after, a worker at the facility notices someone rummaging through the heaps of discarded goods. Suspicious, the guard pulls a gun and demands to know the stranger's identity, warning him that there have been reports of a so-called junk thief sneaking into the city's trash centers, threatening the clean image the elites so desperately preserve. The alarm is raised, and 2 more guards arrive to surround the stranger. But he reacts fast, tossing junk at them as a distraction and slipping into the air ducts. Just as he nears the back exit, it slams shut. The guards open fire. Suddenly, the man taps into a hidden ability. His reflexes surge, and he evades the bullets with unnatural speed. Though he takes a minor hit, he manages to flee into the sewers below. Once the chaos settles, he emerges on a quiet street and finally speaks, declaring that he's not a thief. He only came to recover things unjustly discarded, like the stuffed dog, which deserved better than to be left behind. The following morning, news of the mysterious junk scavenger spreads. 2 women gossip about it, mocking people like him and labeling them a threat to public order. A scruffy man dressed in rags overhears but chooses silence. He leaves through a hidden gate, stepping into the slums on the city's outskirts. There, he informs the local residents about the rumor, sparking anxiety among them. They fear increased crackdowns from the authorities. One girl, Chiwa, immediately suspects the culprit is her friend, Ruto, a boy known for his glowing red eyes and reckless behavior. Ruto is busy tinkering with his recent haul, broken toys and discarded trinkets he believes can be repaired. Lost in his work, he doesn't notice Chiwa approaching. She confronts him, asking if he really put himself in danger again just to recover what others call garbage. She reminds him how unforgiving the city's officials are about waste control. If he's caught, he won't get a second chance. But Ruto fires back, insisting these aren't trash. To him, they're still valuable, abandoned by those who never understood their worth. That's why he salvaged them, to fix and give them a second life, perhaps for others in the slums who still see their value. Chiwa understands why Ruto does what he does, but part of her can't help but question if her friend has started falling for someone society treats like actual junk. That's when 3 arrogant guys from the slums swagger in to mess with Ruto. The one in the middle crinkles his nose at the stench and mocks Chiwa, saying she shouldn't waste her time hanging around a trash picker. One of the other guys kicks over a lamp that Ruto just finished fixing and sneers, saying fixing junk is pointless because nobody would ever use something handled by a loser like Ruto. Chiwa's expression tightens, she doesn't get what these guys are trying to prove. As far as she's concerned, they're in the same boat, poor, rejected, and caked in dirt. But the bullies argue otherwise. They believe they're different from Ruto, saying they have a shot at leaving this place behind if they just work harder. Turns out, the slum they live in was designed to house descendants of criminals. That includes everyone there: Chiwa, Ruto, and the 3 bullies. Things used to be tolerable until Ruto's parents went on a killing rampage, ruining any chance the slum had at earning sympathy from the outside world. After tossing a few more insults, the bullies finally walk off, and Chiwa tries to lift Ruto's spirits by reminding him he's a good person who deserves a better future. She then notices a small stuffed puppy, and Ruto shyly admits he was planning to give it to her as a present. But before she can respond, her mother appears, furious, and yanks her away from Ruto without listening to a word. Later that day, Ruto returns home and finds Regto waiting for him, the same man who'd been seen spying on the city women earlier. Regto playfully teases Ruto for striking out with Chiwa, having apparently listened in on everything. But jokes aside, he asks how Ruto's nightly scavenging mission went. Regto tells Ruto he doesn't have to push himself so hard just to make ends meet, especially since he's still young. He may not be Ruto's biological father, but Regto sees him as family. Ruto expresses his gratitude, explaining that after his parents' incident, he was abandoned. And Regto was the one who took him in and raised him. That's why Ruto works hard, Even if it means picking through trash, he wants to repay that kindness. Then Recto notices an injury on Ruto's arm. He quickly realizes it's a gunshot wound and treats it, scolding Ruto and ordering him to stay away from the junkyard from now on. Ruto shrugs it off, saying it's nothing compared to the emotional scars left behind by his parents. He even shows Recto the black stains that cover both his hands. But Recto warns him, if the authorities ever link him to his family's crimes, Ruto could be sentenced to the abyss, just like his father. Ever since he was a child, Ruto has faced rejection because of his strange hands. It wasn't until Recto gave him gloves that he found the courage to face the world. Lightening the mood, Recto pokes fun at Ruto again, urging him to hurry up and give that stuffed puppy to Chiwa, maybe even sneak in a little kiss. Ruto instantly refuses, and the two break into a playful scuffle, like father and son. Outside, the mysterious cloaked figure seen in the opening scene is now listening in. His bond with Recto is complicated. Part affection, part rivalry. He tends to go overboard emotionally. At one point, he clutches his face and mutters that Ruto should try smiling more, even if he has to fake it. But how can he smile when even his eyes look like they're about to fall out of his head? Eventually, the man pulls away from the house and steps outside. Morning light greets him, and he wonders if Chiwa might already be out. He turns his gaze toward the abyss, reminding himself he doesn't have to travel far to find junk. After all, everything unwanted ends up there. The abyss is more than just a landfill. It's a massive pit where not only broken items are dumped, but people too, sinners, criminals, and those society wants to forget. He gazes out over the abyss, watching as another person is about to be cast into its depths. It reminds him of a story he once heard, that his father, too, was thrown into that very pit. He never found out whether it was true, and doubts still linger in his mind. Nearby, someone mutters about another person about to be dropped. Curious, he glances back and spots Chiwa. They exchange greetings, and she remarks how unusual it is to find him in that part of the area. Maybe today is just her lucky day, she jokes. To him, though, the view from that spot offers nothing remarkable. Not that the slums ever had anything pleasant to offer, but this place feels particularly bleak. The slums were purposely constructed at the edge of the city, a not-so-subtle warning. A reminder to everyone living there that a single misstep could lead to a one-way trip into the abyss. No matter how hard you try to avoid witnessing it, you always end up seeing someone fall. Suddenly, intense pain surges through Ruto's body. He collapses, writhing on the ground in confusion. He wonders if the strange object lodged inside him is the cause. Struggling to stand, he instinctively extends it toward Chiwa before dashing away. As he flees, he unexpectedly encounters the apostles. 4 of them. A rare sight in the slums, and one that instantly raises questions. They let him pass without issue, but Ruto can't shake the feeling that something's wrong. Still, he keeps moving, heading straight to Rektha's place. When he arrives, he sees a horrifying scene, a man attacking Rektha. He shouts for help, but no one comes. Ruto charges to intervene, only to be thrown aside. By the time he regains his balance, the damage is done. Stunned, he watches the attacker leave, powerless to respond. He crawls to Rektha's side, calling out to him. Rektha, barely clinging to life, urges Ruto to run, to survive. He tells him that only he has the power to fix their broken world. But Ruto refuses to leave. His bond with Rektha runs deep, and he clings to him, desperate and unwilling to let go. Before he can act, the apostles appear and spot him at the scene, surrounded by blood. Without hesitation, they shoot to disable him and declare him a murderer. Ruto protests. Rektha isn't dead, not yet. There's still time to save him, if they move quickly. But the apostles have no interest in that. To them, he's just another slum rat, presumed guilty by association. His pleas go ignored. The real killer is long gone, but that doesn't matter to them. Their minds already made up, they drag him away. It's almost laughable how quickly someone's life can shift. 1 minute, he's watching others fall into the abyss, the next, he's the one being sentenced. Bound at the edge of the pit, the public begins to chatter. Even Shiva hears the news. Whispers spread that he's a child murderer who betrayed the very man who raised him. Shiva feels betrayed. She had always believed in him, supported him, defended him. Now, she watches from the crowd, her face unreadable. To Ruto, her presence should feel like hope, but it only deepens the pain. She doesn't speak, just drops the teddy bear he gave her and walks away. Her silence cuts deeper than any words. Ruto is left in despair. No one believes him. No one even wants to. Maybe they never did. Before the fall, he was already judged. As the chant of "from slum to abyss" rise, the apostles tighten the rope. And then, they let go. Darkness swallows him. Rage simmers inside as he plummets. Visions flash before his eyes. His body feels weightless, lifeless. But then, a jolt. His eyes snap open. Not to the sky above, but to filth and debris below. The smell confirms it, he's truly in the abyss. It's worse than he ever imagined. Distant noises echo through the shadows. Something is down there, something alive. Something dangerous. The stories never prepared him for this. Now, trapped in a place many never return from, one question remains. Can Ruto survive the abyss? Ruto froze for a split second at the sight of the towering beast, his mind going blank. A memory surfaced, how he'd always thought it odd that everyone was obsessed with tossing waste and criminals into the pit, yet nobody ever questioned what became of them afterward. Not a single thought spared for what might lurk in the depths. That unanswered mystery had gnawed at him for years. But the moment didn't last, his survival instincts kicked in, and he bolted as the colossal creature closed in. Things spiraled quickly when the monster bellowed with earth-shaking force, prompting more horrors to crawl out from the heap of refuse. They poured forth in swarms, giving chase as Ruto sprinted with every ounce of strength he had. It didn't matter, before long, he was surrounded. His thoughts spun, were these things actually moving heaps of garbage? Or something worse? They lunged at him without warning, claws and teeth snapping. By sheer luck, he sidestepped their first strike, scrambling to flee, only to trip and crash face first into the remains of a human skull. The realization hit him like ice in his veins. He knew exactly how his story would end. Fury bubbled up at the thought of the bastards who had thrown him into this nightmare. Then, the mound beneath him collapsed, sending him tumbling down. When he came to, he was at the base of a jagged drop, temporarily shielded from the monsters by sheer cliff walls. But another danger quickly made itself known. The very air was poison. Every breath felt like knives raking his lungs. He yanked his gloves over his mouth and nose, hoping to stumble upon a safe corner to recover, though deep down, he doubted such a place even existed here. The thought drained his will, and blood splattered from his mouth as he coughed violently, the noise instantly drawing the beasts again. His body gave out, collapsing onto the filth. For a heartbeat, he was ready to let go. Until the dying image of Ruto seared into his mind. Something strange and powerful surged through his hands, though he hardly noticed. His vision warped, faint glimmers began radiating from piles of trash and from an iron pipe just ahead. Driven by an unshakable need to survive, Ruto crawled forward. Gripping the pipe, he rose to his feet, a burning vow in his heart. He would climb back to the surface and make those who betrayed him pay. He would kill the one who murdered his father. Hatred roared inside him, just as the monsters crept closer. One lunged, but Ruto swatted it aside with the pipe without even glancing at it. The impact sent a stray can flying into the umbrella of another pit dweller, who now watched with surprise. Someone here could actually fight back. Ruto, lost in a frenzy, didn't care about the toxic air or the blood streaking from his nose. He leapt and smashed through monsters, crashing into stone at high speed without slowing down. One beast shattered the boulder, pinning him, burying him in rubble, but Ruto clawed his way out with a length of pole in hand. With a full force swing, he crashed into a monster, staggering it, only for another to burst from below. He narrowly evaded its snapping jaws, but the toxins in the air took their toll, and he spat blood once more. The creatures seized the moment, closing in. Yet the strange power returned, filling him with reckless strength. Standing his ground, he fought two beasts at once, emerging unscathed. With a sheet of metal, he split open the skull of one, then cleaved the other clean in half, its body erupting on impact. He barely had a moment to catch his breath before a massive monster lumbered toward him. Ruto turned to retreat, planning to recover, but the creature stomped down, sending a shockwave that hurled him across the ground. Blinking his eyes open, he was startled to find a figure in a disturbing mask looming above. Confusion flashed. Who was this stranger, and how had he gotten here? Before Ruto could speak, the man hauled him up and kicked him forward. Ruto hacked up blood, ready to retaliate, but the stranger shoved a gas mask over his face. Sweet, clean air filled his lungs for the first time since he'd arrived. Still baffled, Ruto demanded to know if this man was from here. He pressed for answers. What was this place, and what were these monsters? But the masked figure hushed him sharply. Ruto, stubborn as ever, kept talking, his voice echoing in the toxic wasteland. Again, the man hissed for silence, but Ruto only told him to speak more clearly. When he asked if they were underground, the man finally lost his temper, snapping that they weren't below ground at all. They were above it. It was the fault of those living higher up for turning this land into a hellscape. He added that the trash-born monsters hunted by sound, and thanks to Ruto's refusal to shut up, they had just been found. The masked man remarks that the garbage beasts can't be brought down with normal weapons, so their best option earlier was to slip away unnoticed, but that chance is gone now. One of the creatures catches up from behind, prompting the masked man to deal with it before anything else. A radiant golden light flares from his arm, wrapping around his umbrella and altering it into a deadly weapon. The creature lunges at them, but the masked man spins his umbrella directly into its face, grinding it apart like a hand mixer tearing through soft matter. Chunks of the beast scatter through the air before quickly disintegrating into dust. Ruto, already shocked by the sudden power boost, becomes even more intrigued upon noticing the monsters aren't regenerating from this attack. Moments later, a massive swarm of creatures approaches, yet the masked man remains sure of himself. He charges into their ranks, slicing them apart in rapid bursts with his bladed umbrella, then leaps upward, using the umbrella like a glider to slow his fall. Ruto wonders whether this is a form of specialized technology common among the pit's inhabitants or something unique to this strange man. Drifting down toward the final towering beast, the masked man narrowly avoids danger when it spits a glob of acidic fluid his way. He deflects and scatters the acid with his umbrella, the substance erupting violently upon hitting the heaps of refuse below. Using the monster's skull as a springboard, he propels himself higher into the air, channeling even more energy into his umbrella until it grows larger and far more destructive. He then plunges down like a meteor, cleaving straight through the monster's head and even cutting into the ground beneath it. When the fight is over, he makes his way back to Ruto, who bluntly demands to know who he is. The man removes his mask, introducing himself as Injin, just a humble cleaner, though the foul air instantly makes him regret exposing his face. Cursing Ruto for forcing him to unmask, Injin suddenly sees Ruto collapse. While unconscious, Ruto dreams of his childhood. In the memory, he had returned home soaked and dirty after being shoved into the sewers by boys who bullied him for claiming objects are alive. They didn't believe him. Recto had asked if he fought back, but Ruto admitted he hadn't. Ruto then questioned whether Recto truly meant it when he said that objects cared for long enough could one day gain a soul. As Recto cleaned him up, he explained it was merely an old tale meant to teach people to value what they own, though personally, he liked believing every object has a soul. Fascinated, Ruto asked whether the things in their home, like his gloves, could also have souls. Recto simply told him that if he treated them well, perhaps they would one day. Ruto snaps awake from the dream to find himself shackled and being dragged along by Injin. He swears at him, demanding to be released, but Injin replies that he's only bringing him somewhere safe. Ruto ignores that, insisting he must return above to take revenge. These words make Injin halt briefly. He explains that going back up to the sphere, a floating place high in the sky that is always moving, is impossible. Resuming his pace, Injin advises Ruto to let go of the idea and adjust to reality. But Ruto stubbornly refuses, declaring he'll reach the sphere no matter what. Convinced Injin knows more than he's saying, Ruto shouts that he should reveal the truth or he'll keep yelling until more beasts arrive. Irritated, Injin warns he'll show Ruto exactly what kind of place this is. With less care than before, he drags him onward until they reach an open canyon area that stands out for being hundreds of times cleaner than the rest of the wasteland. Injin drops him off and casually tells him to enjoy himself before making a quick exit. Ruto yells after him, demanding that he at least untie him, but Injin disappears without a word. Moments later, several men wearing gas masks step out of large trucks and begin approaching Ruto. He wonders if these could be locals, while they stare back at him with equal curiosity. Judging by his unusual clothes, they speculate he might be from the sphere and close in on him with eerie interest. Feeling uneasy, Ruto admits that he fell from the sphere, which prompts the men to pull off their masks all at once. They become thrilled at the sight of a living sphere dweller, as all their previous encounters involved dead ones. Overcome with curiosity, they crowd around him, inspecting his features until Ruto instinctively backs away. The strangers assure him they mean no harm and start undoing his restraints, leading him to believe they're far kinder than Injin. But it's all a deception. Before long, Ruto is tightly chained inside one of their trucks. Confused, He overhears them talking excitedly about how valuable a live spherite will be. They boast that collectors pay absurd amounts for the bodies, clothes, and relics of the dead ones, and that having a living example will send buyers into a frenzy. Their leader explains that the reason such hatred exists is because sphere dwellers poisoned their world, dumping so much waste that the air turned toxic and birthed monsters. Many people lost loved ones or homes because of this, and any live spherite they catch is destined to suffer brutally. To welcome him to the surface, the leader offers Ruto a meal of spoiled meat and rotting scraps, mocking him the whole time. He sneers that sphere people can't stomach such filth. But as he tries to force-feed him, he makes the worst mistake possible. Ruto suddenly bites down hard on the man's fingers, ripping away flesh and chewing it along with the rancid food. Then he devours the rest without hesitation, declaring it perfectly edible. The men are horrified, they've never seen anything like it, but Ruto is just getting started. Angered at how people discard things as worthless, he decides he's done tolerating it. His power erupts, shattering his chains. He leaps out of the truck, unleashing energy into the ground that sends objects flying. From afar, Injin watches with satisfaction, recognizing Ruto as a giver, someone able to breathe life into objects and draw out their power. Meanwhile, Ruto recalls Ricto's words, "Treat objects with care and they will treat you the same." Tossing aside his mask, he grabs the chain that bound him, imbuing it with life until it becomes a weapon. The men charge, but Ruto slams the ground with his chain, forcing them back. Their leader orders them to destroy the weapon, knowing a giver is helpless without one, and they manage to disarm him. To everyone's shock, and to Injin's delight, Ruto simply picks up a discarded tire and transforms it into another weapon, a feat rare even among skilled givers. He tears through the group and closes in on their leader, who curses him in terror. Just before Ruto can strike, Injin steps in and halts him. Snapping out of his rage, Ruto's energy fades, the tire crumbles to dust, and he staggers with a nosebleed, trying to understand what just happened. Injin warns that such reckless use of his ability will wear his body down. He admits he staged the entire ordeal to test Ruto's capabilities, then offers to explain everything about the world and his powers if Ruto agrees to join the cleaners, who battle the monsters. But Ruto, overwhelmed, refuses the offer outright. It turns out Injin doesn't understand the meaning of the word no. Without giving Ruto a choice, he drags him to a clinic for treatment while phoning a friend, bragging that he's discovered a genius and brought him into the cleaners. Ruto is stunned by the claim, pointing out that he never agreed to join anything. He insists he must return to the sphere at once, but the unsettling doctor, whose eyes are somehow wider than pool table pockets, orders him to shut up. The doctor shouts at Ruto for venturing into the no-man's land, warning that the air there is pure poison. He calls him a fool for getting kidnapped on top of it, telling him to be grateful to Injin for saving him from 2 grim ends in a single day. Internally, Ruto curses Injin, and then discovers the doctor is actually an elderly woman, who takes offense when he addresses her as an old man. Once the treatment is complete, she promptly throws both Ruto and Injin out. Outside, Ruto thanks Injin for covering the cost but insists he only needs directions back. He makes it clear he has zero time to become a cleaner or whatever Injin calls himself. Injin counters by saying the kidnapping should have opened his eyes to how spherites are treated here. If anyone finds out he's from the sphere, he'll wish he'd never been born. On top of that, no information comes free. He leads Ruto into a grim, decaying city, still far cleaner than the wasteland outside. He even buys Ruto a burger, which Ruto devours without hesitation, still recovering from vomiting up the spoiled meat he ate earlier. He always imagined the bottom of the pit was nothing but filth, yet there are actual cities with people living here. He notices a girl entering the shop and stares, only for Injin to begin explaining the surface world. According to Injin, it's not just trash that piles up, emotions also accumulate, forming an energy called anima. Trash beasts are one way this anima takes shape. While they usually remain in garbage zones, they sometimes invade cities. Normal weapons can't harm them because their cores are made of anima, but Ruto's gloves can. This surprises Ruto, and Injin explains that objects cared for over many years gather anima and become vital instruments. Such items can destroy trash beast cores, though only certain people can draw out their power. Those who can are called givers. The cleaners are made up of these givers, whose job is to eliminate trash beasts. Ruto asks if Injin will tell him how to get back to the sphere if he joins. Injin flatly admits he has no idea. Furious, Ruto accuses him of lying, but Injin reminds him he never promised anything. However, he claims his boss is wise and might know a way home. Now Ruto must meet this boss before deciding. Injin then asks about the gloves. Ruto says they were a gift from his father, the only memento he has left. Injin understands why Ruto treasures them, warning him to keep them safe, as they hold a powerful soul. The words touch Ruto, since most people mocked his gloves. Just then, Injin receives a message and says he's meeting a work friend. Ruto thanks him, and Injin tosses him a pouch of money, advising him to spend wisely. Shocked, Ruto wonders why Injin is giving him more after all he's done. Injin casually reveals he sold Ruto's clothes to get the money, which also paid for his treatment and food. Ruto erupts in outrage, but Injin points out he couldn't walk around wearing sphere clothes anyway. He tells Ruto to wait while he meets his trainer. Still fuming, Ruto notices a cat snatch his pouch and bolt. He gives chase but can't catch it until he spots a crescent-shaped staff on the ground. He grabs it and uses it to trap the cat. Just then, the staff's owner arrives, furious at Ruto for touching his precious weapon. When Ruto mocks the stick, the man becomes even angrier. Snatching it back, he shoves Ruto aside and vows to make him pay. Before doing so, he starts acting oddly with the staff, leaving Ruto baffled until he spots the cleaner symbol, the same as on Injin's umbrella. Realizing this man is also a cleaner, Ruto watches as the staff transforms into a weapon. The man attacks but deliberately misses, revealing that Injin already told him about Ruto. He introduces himself as Zanka, the one assigned to train Ruto at Injin's request. Zanka says he never imagined he'd need to teach a kid that stealing from others is wrong, while Ruto replies that he wasn't stealing, he was only borrowing the staff to get his money back. Zanka comments that Ruto's father clearly didn't raise him well, which enrages Ruto, since he can't stand anyone speaking poorly about Recto. But as Recto's words cross his mind, he remembers being told that if he wants someone to truly listen, he should take the first step back and try to see things from their perspective. With that in mind, Ruto realizes Zanka has every reason to be upset. After all, he suddenly took something precious from him. He admits that he would be furious if someone took his gloves, even by accident, and accepts that he was in the wrong. He apologizes to Zanka, who quickly calms down. Zanka tells him it's fine now that the staff has been returned, adding that he himself could have reacted with more composure. Ruto is thrown off by the sudden change in attitude, especially because it's the first time he has managed to defuse a tense situation simply through conversation. He begins to think Recto was right about more than he realized, and Zanka lends him a hand to get up. Zanka then asks about his important tool and what it can do. Ruto explains that his most important items are probably his gloves, though he doesn't yet know their abilities. Zanka inspects them, saying they look impressive, while Ruto remains surprised at how different Zanka seems now. Ruto suddenly understands, it's because Zanka is smiling. Recto always said smiling was the key to making friends. Unfortunately, Ruto has never smiled before and would probably need a trainer to teach him how to move the muscles in his face. Unaware of that, he attempts his best version of a smile but ends up producing one of the most terrifying expressions Zanka has ever seen. Zanka bursts out, demanding to know what kind of face Ruto is making. He accuses him of mocking him, while Ruto insists that this was the best smile he could manage. Zanka scoffs, saying even a blind person would know that's not a smile, so Ruto closes both his eyes and lips in an effort to make it look more natural. Though the result is less disturbing, Zanka is still irritated. He suspects Ruto has grown arrogant since Injin called him a genius and now thinks it's okay to make fun of people. Zanka warns that he'll never reach his ambitions if he keeps fooling around, but that was the wrong thing to say. Ruto recalls his mission to return to the sphere and reshape it according to Recto's dying wishes, and he tells Zanka he's deadly serious. He demands Zanka stop insulting him, but Zanka draws his weapon, saying they're not going to get along. Ruto agrees, pulling a metal rod from a nearby trash bin and awakening its power. Zanka is taken aback when he sees Ruto wielding a random everyday item as though it were his primary weapon. In that moment, he understands why Injin had called Ruto a prodigy. Still, Zanka's confidence doesn't falter. He believes that pure talent alone can't outmatch someone like him who has honed his skills through relentless effort. Ruto remains unaware that Zanka's jab was meant to divert his attention, until a split second later when Zanka's staff slams into the ground just inches from him. Forced onto the defensive, Ruto scrambles away as Zanka presses forward aggressively, eventually knocking him down and pinning him. Feeling triumphant, Zanka relaxes, only to pause when he feels something odd on his face. He wipes it, gives it a cautious sniff, and is horrified to realize it's feces. His eyes widen as the truth dawns. The metal rod Ruto picked up was actually part of a toilet plunger. While Zanka tries to explain what the object is, Ruto isn't interested. Instead, he begins swinging it wildly, still dripping with someone's leftover meal. Zanka dodges frantically as filth sprays through the air, until panic overtakes him and he bolts. Ruto, puzzled by Zanka's sudden fear but deciding to take advantage of it, charges after him. Their chase careens through narrow alleys in a manner straight out of an old slapstick cartoon. Zanka bursts onto the main street, only to be tripped by a stray cat, giving Ruto the perfect opening. Leaping high, Ruto brings the plunger down with all his strength, striking Zanka with a splatter of flying filth that leaves him unconscious. Not long after, Injin arrives, finding Zanka sprawled atop a trash heap, twitching and mumbling. When Injin asks if Ruto has met his new instructor, Ruto simply gestures toward the defeated Zanka. Still chuckling, Injin helps Zanka get cleaned up and offers him a lift, teasing him for being taken down by such an absurd weapon. Ruto, on the other hand, is now disturbed by the realization of what he had been swinging through the streets. Injin then reveals that Zanka is a pampered brat, and he never imagined someone would put him in his place so effectively. Ruto's attention drifts when he notices a pair of boots in the back seat. Injin tells him their first meeting might have been rough, but Zanka will be his mentor from now on, praising him as the most capable trainer in handling vital instruments. Zanka, clearly valuing Injin's opinion, starts chuckling at the compliment. At that moment, Injin calls out to a woman named Rio in the back, asking when she got in. She stirs from a nap and says she was curious about the newcomer. Ruto can't help but stare. She's beautiful, and is caught off guard when she begins playing with his unusual hair, making him briefly wonder if he's ended up in paradise. Lost in his thoughts, he barely notices as Injin drives them out of the city toward the cleaners' headquarters, located deep in the wilderness. Injin drove past several ruined cities before arriving at a heavily guarded tunnel carved through an enormous rock wall. Once they emerged on the other side, everyone stepped out of the vehicle, and Injin gestured to the massive structure ahead, introducing it to Ruto as the headquarters of the cleaners. Ruto, still distracted and flustered from Rio running her fingers through his hair earlier, began walking toward the entrance. As he moved, a couple of flies buzzed lazily around his head. Inside, a tanned receptionist with a mature, motherly aura lounged casually behind a desk, flipping through a Playboy magazine without a care. Injin introduced her to Ruto as Simiyu, explaining that she personally checks over anyone who joins them. Before he could finish describing her skills, Simiyu casually jabbed her fork forward, skewering both flies in a single swift motion. Ruto froze in astonishment as she greeted him, saying Injin had told her all about him but that she needed to examine him herself to gauge his potential. Adjusting her glasses, Simiyu began focusing, and Injin leaned toward Ruto to explain that her glasses weren't just for show, they were special tools that amplified her sight. When she concentrated, she could perceive the essence of a person. Ruto, hearing this for the first time, barely had a moment to process before Simiyu activated the ability and studied him. A flicker of shock passed over her face before she quickly deactivated her power. When Injin asked what she had seen, Simiyu noted that Ruto was already in great physical shape and wouldn't require athletic training, and that he had a natural compatibility with his vital instrument, though he would need guidance to use it effectively. Injin sensed she was holding something back, pressing her for more, but she simply remarked that there was also a bit of poop on the back of his neck. Injin burst into laughter at the comment before deciding it was time to take Ruto to meet the boss, though he shot Simiyu a knowing glance, aware she hadn't revealed everything. As they walked, Injin mentioned that there were roughly 100 cleaners in total, a mix of fighters, guards, and support staff. Due to constant missions, they were rarely all present at the headquarters. He told Ruto he should meet some of them, but when he opened the door to the living room and saw a crowd of cleaners inside, he quickly shut it again, saying introductions could wait. Eventually, they arrived at the boss's office. Before going in, Injin cautioned Ruto not to begin by asking how to return to the sphere. Instead, he should offer to work as a cleaner first, as that would give the boss a reason to help. He also warned him never to inquire about the boss's vital instrument, as no one knew what it was or what it could do. Ruto's curiosity grew, but upon entering, he found the room empty. Simiyu appeared moments later, telling them the boss was away on a mission and wouldn't be back for several days. While Ruto seemed puzzled, Injin wasn't surprised and told him he'd simply have to wait. Irritated, Ruto demanded to know what he was supposed to do in the meantime. Rio suddenly appeared and suggested he accompany her to watch her in action. She explained that he couldn't officially become a cleaner until the boss approved, so until then, tagging along as her trainee was the best option. She admitted she also wanted the chance to learn more about him. Ruto, overwhelmed by this sudden female attention, something entirely new to him, fell silent and followed her without protest. They made their way to the strategy room, where Simiyu briefed them. A small town near a polluted zone had requested help after small trash beasts were spotted in the area. Ruto asked about polluted zones, and Simiyu immediately realized Injin had neglected to teach him the basics. She clarified that the world was split into safe zones, where humans could live normally, and polluted zones, which were choked with waste and home to trash beasts. The spot where Ruto had first landed was actually a no-man's land, an extremely dangerous polluted zone where most people would die instantly upon entry. Handing him a mask, Simiyu warned him to wear it at all times in polluted zones. Without it, the toxic gases would kill him in under 15 minutes. Later, Ruto tags along with Rio and her squad on a mission. She instructs him to stay close at all times so he can absorb as much as possible from observing her. He still feels uneasy about the idea, but his thoughts drift to wondering how long he'd actually been wandering in the no-man's zone and how much toxic air he might have inhaled. His focus then shifts toward the massive garbage mound ahead, making him wonder if the people inside the sphere have any clue that there are humans living in the depths of such a pit. Yet, for Ruto, all of that fades in importance compared to the junk pile itself. To him, it's not just a heap of waste, it's a gold mine of salvageable items he can tinker with and restore without anyone criticizing him for it. Closing the distance with Rio, he asks her about the rest of the people with her. Rio explains that they are supporters, though they don't have the special abilities of frontline fighters. Their assistance during missions is invaluable. One of them reaches out for a handshake, and Ruto hesitantly accepts, only for his hand to be crushed in an iron grip. Rio chuckles at his discomfort, telling him that this guy's strength is no joke, strong enough to rip open a trash beast's shell using nothing but his hands. Ruto starts thinking he's had enough of this crazy woman's idea of normal. Suddenly, one of the supporters calls out, warning that trash beasts are approaching. Determined to pick up whatever he can, Ruto readies himself to observe the encounter closely. Soon, a group of small goat-like trash beasts emerges from the eerie trash forest. Panic rises in him as he asks Rio how they're supposed to handle so many enemies. She calmly reassures him, saying these are weak and sluggish beasts that can't even breach the wooden fence. Her words prove accurate. The creatures slam into the barrier without making any progress. But then, a second wave appears, larger, fiercer trash beasts this time. They shove against the fence, starting to splinter it, and Ruto again panics, demanding to know what they should do. Rio's answer remains relaxed. These ones are only a notch stronger than the first, and still perfect for breaking in a rookie. She suggests they just wrap up the cleanup fast and head back to celebrate Ruto's arrival on the surface. He's stunned by how casual she is about risking her life against monsters, and she tells him that surviving topside requires a positive mindset. In that moment, Ruto recalls that Engine shares the same outlook, realizing that this might be what he's been missing. He decides to adopt the same laid-back attitude, right until a gigantic trash beast smashes through the barricade, startling even Rio. Seeking reassurance, he glances at her, only for her to grin and comment on how stylish the creature looks. She admits it's not exactly the ideal opponent for training beginners, but she's eager to take it on. Pulling out her scissors, her primary weapon, Ruto watches in stunned silence. She activates them, tossing them into the air where they expand in size and sharpen further. Snatching them with her leg, she launches herself into the enemy horde, slicing through multiple beasts in a single kick. Ruto can't even process what's happening until a supporter explains that her weapon, the Ripper, is unique because she fights with her feet instead of her hands. Ruto realizes every cleaner has their own method of using their weapons, right before the handshake supporter warns him to watch his back. Too late, Ruto notices a level 2 trash beast lunging at him, but the supporter intercepts, crushing its skull barehanded before tossing it toward Rio. She slices it cleanly and orders the team to send her more beasts, and they happily hurl the massive creatures at her like toys. By the time Ruto absorbs all of this and understands this is how cleaners operate, Rio has already wiped out every lesser monster, leaving only the massive boss for the finale. The supporters choose to take down any smaller trash beasts that could disrupt her battle and spread out to handle them. During this, Ruto spots one of the creatures, supposedly neutralized, suddenly moving. It springs forward, tripping one supporter before leaping onto him. The man fails to dodge in time, but Ruto rushes in and pulls him to safety, declaring that he'll prove himself here so he can quickly get the answers he's after. Gripping an iron pipe, he wills it into a weapon, only to watch it reshape into a spike barrier. The transformation surprises him, and he realizes he's forgotten the exact method to use his abilities, having relied purely on instinct until now. While he's hesitating, the trash beast pushes against him relentlessly. Just in time, Rio appears and swiftly dispatches the creature, commending Ruto for trusting his instincts to protect others. The rescued supporter approaches, thanking her and asking if she managed to bring down the large one. Rio replies that she sliced it in half, yet it's still standing. Baffled at how it could survive when she's certain she struck its core, she decides to hack it into pieces until it's useless. The supporters record details about this new variety of trash beast resistant to vital instruments, then depart to alert nearby settlements. Rio, however, charges toward the massive creature, leaving Ruto unsure of what role he's supposed to play. Leaping at the beast, Rio lands on its face before vaulting to its head, severing the pipes jutting from it. Once she's cleared them all, she spots a faint glow beneath her feet, likely the hidden core. Before she can strike, the beast thrashes violently, throwing her clear. It then reattacks the pipes and slams its jaw against the ground with brutal force. Clinging on, Rio tries to stay in position, but the monster suddenly shifts its attack toward Ruto and the supporters. Ruto freezes as the metal pipes whip toward him, narrowly avoiding a direct hit. The ground beneath him collapses from the impact, and as he falls, he questions his purpose, thinking at this pace, he'll never avenge Recto or take down those inside the sphere. Darkness starts creeping into his thoughts. Before he's lost entirely, the support worker grabs him, hauling him from the hole and away from his despair. Carrying Ruto over his shoulder, the man urges him not to freeze in the face of his goal but to move forward while he can. He points out how even powerless supporters keep pushing onward to fulfill their duties. Ruto then catches sight of Rio hacking at the monster again, and judging from its pained cries, realizes she's found its weak point. Launching herself high into the air, Rio dives straight for its head, driving her giant scissors deep and ripping out the core. When she lands, she shatters it, causing the beast to instantly crumble into ash. The supporter rushes to her side, asking how she managed to kill it. Rio explains that she struck something other than its core, revealing a simple cardboard cutter in her hand. The supporter stares in disbelief, recognizing it as a vital instrument, which shouldn't be possible for a trash beast to possess. Meanwhile, far away, the leader of the bandits who intended to sell Ruto regains consciousness in a dimly lit room. Disoriented, he wonders where he is, until the man lounging on the sofa in front of him calmly asks for the location of the boy from the sphere he'd mumbled about in his sleep. At the cleaner's headquarters, Rio holds a welcome celebration for Ruto. Before long, Zanka shows up too, still groggy after sleeping through most of the afternoon. Curious, he asks Rio what's happening. She explains it's a party to welcome Ruto to the surface, though Ruto himself is sitting off in a corner, silent with his head bowed. Zanka wonders aloud why that cocky brat looks so miserable, and Rio explains that since his vital instrument failed him mid-battle, he's been down in the dumps. Zanka admits it's unfortunate, but then changes the topic, asking about the strange trash beast Rio encountered. She confirms, explaining that unlike normal beasts with anima cores, this one had a vital instrument as its core, something completely unexpected. Since she couldn't deal with it herself, she left it to higher-ups and came back to host the party instead. Meanwhile, Ruto is still sulking when the head of the support team walks over. Introducing himself as Grease, he tells Ruto that his performance yesterday was impressive. Ruto disagrees, feeling he achieved nothing, but Grease reminds him he saved another supporter from a trash beast. Ruto admits that although he managed that, afterward he couldn't use his ability properly and needed Grease and Rio to pull him out. It frustrates him, because even back on the sphere, he frequently lost control, forcing Ricto to clean up after him. Feeling like a hopeless failure, he doubts he can ever meet anyone's expectations, until Grease suddenly thanks him, breaking his spiral of thoughts. Grease explains that most rookie cleaners dismiss supporters as powerless deadweight, but Ruto didn't treat them that way. He brings up Fallow, the supporter Ruto saved, a man who joined intending to fight but now works in support because he lacks a vital instrument, holding onto an item he hopes will one day become his weapon. Grease tells Ruto not to obsess over strength or living up to other standards. Instead, he asks what Ruto truly desired before everything fell apart on the sphere. As Ruto considers, Grease says that rediscovering whatever first lit the fire in his heart will help him find his path. He ruffles Ruto's hair, urging him to have faith in himself. The moment turns emotional, until Injin strolls in, leaning against Ruto and breaking the mood. He asks why Ruto isn't eating. Rio and Zanka soon join them, insisting he enjoy the party since he's tonight's guest of honor, and reminding him the food won't last forever. Touched by their concern, Ruto follows them to the table. While they eat, someone cranks up music and grabs cans of spray paint. Injin tells Ruto to keep an eye on Gob, a guy who acts entirely on his own whims. As Gob starts painting a mural on the wall, others grumble and tell him to wait until mealtime is over, but as usual, he ignores them. Meanwhile, on the ground floor, Mommy Simu returns to her desk, already sensing an incoming call. She answers the moment the phone rings, receiving a request. She calls for Zanka and a team of supporters, but Zanka notices Ruto is joining them despite not being an official cleaner. Simu explains the mission is tied directly to Ruto. She relays that the request comes from a merchant attacked by a trash beast while passing through a polluted zone. The merchant escaped alive, but his valuable cargo was stolen. The job is to defeat the beast and recover the stolen goods which turn out to be a living spherite, making Ruto's involvement essential. Everyone was taken aback by the statement, and Simu remarked that it was extremely unusual to encounter two living spherites on the surface at the same time. To her, that suggested something strange was happening, and she wanted Ruto to see it for himself. Ruto mulled over the idea, and Grease advised him to keep his emotions in check before deciding. Ruto was aware that his lack of control over his abilities could become a liability to the team, but he still felt drawn to investigate the other spherite, hoping it might hold a clue to returning to the surface. He chose to go along, much to Zanka's displeasure, though Simu knew just how to sway him. She explained that the mission had originally been assigned to Enjin, but since he was occupied with another task, he had entrusted it to Zanka. That was all it took to excite the devoted Enjin admirer, who eagerly led his squad through the polluted area. While traveling, Ruto asked Grease if he didn't use a weapon. Grease replied that he had a knife but preferred relying on his own hands. One of the group members revealed that Grease also kept a talisman he often prayed to, causing Grease to flush in embarrassment at having his secret exposed. Eventually, he showed the talisman to Ruto, insisting it wasn't anything important, just something to keep him grounded. At that moment, they noticed a shady figure standing behind them. The girl, whose pronouns were clearly them, introduced herself as the merchant who had hired them for the job. Ruto immediately began questioning her about the spherite. She explained that while transporting her goods, she had stumbled upon an unconscious spherite. Concerned for its safety, she carried it away, only for a trash beast to appear, snatch the spherite, and flee. When Ruto asked if she intended to sell the spherite, the merchant denied it, claiming she was simply fascinated by them. Zanka, however, thought her story stank worse than the trash heap they were heading toward. Trash beasts attacked humans on sight, not kidnapped them. Something was off, but he decided to address it later. The merchant then guided them to a building where the trash beast had supposedly taken the spherite. Zanka warned everyone to stay alert, as the beast could strike from anywhere. Yet, when they entered, the place was empty except for a figure at the far end. The merchant insisted it was the spherite and began shoving Ruto forward, with the rest of the cleaners getting pushed along as well. But when Ruto got close enough, he saw it wasn't a living being, it was a doll dressed like a spherite. Before he could react, the merchant leapt back and urged them to move quickly. Suddenly, the floor beneath Ruto softened into mud, sending the whole group crashing to the lower level. Dazed, they asked where they were and what had happened to the spherite. The merchant's laugh turned eerie as she pointed at Ruto, claiming he was the spherite, then dissolved into mud herself. Moments later, two voices echoed in the dark, calling for the spherite giver, followed by a pair of glowing purple lights moving toward them. Zanka instantly recognized what was going on. The lights meant only one thing: raiders. They weren't hiding their intent to capture Ruto. Grease explained to a baffled Ruto that raiders were essentially this world's bandits, but what made them especially lethal was that they were also givers. Without hesitation, Grease ordered the others to search for an escape route while he and Folo stayed behind to protect Ruto. Zanka is told to handle the two raiders alone, and although hesitant, he realizes there's no better choice. The supporters quickly flee in the opposite direction, and Grease instructs Ruto to go with them. Ruto insists he can take care of a group of thieves himself, but Grease warns him not to underestimate the enemy, especially when they have no clue about the raiders' special abilities. Meanwhile, Zanka mocks the pair, remarking that he always suspected they'd target Ruto but didn't expect them to track him down so soon. He asks if their goal is to sell him, since a living spherite could earn them enough to retire in luxury. The raiders chuckle, explaining they have no intention of selling Ruto. Instead, they want information. Speaking with a spherite, they believe, is the best way to learn about the sphere. In particular, they're curious about how he managed to cross the barrier and survive. This piques Zanka's interest as well, but he decides it's best to eliminate them first. He points out that since they arranged this ambush, he won't have to deal with any trash beasts. The female raider warns him that he still needs to worry about the mud constructs she can create anytime she pleases. Zanka scoffs, claiming opponents this week could be handled with his eyes closed. Activating his staff, he tears through the mud dolls, but the male raider blends into the group of dummies and suddenly strikes him from behind. Zanka barely manages to defend himself before being slammed into a pillar. The man slips back into another mud doll, and the woman sneers, explaining that cleaners only fight trash beasts and are clueless when it comes to facing humans. She declares that this will be the final round to find the real one he'll ever play. Zanka readies himself, determined to give it everything he's got. One by one, he smashes the mud dolls, yet the male raider keeps landing blows on his back. Backed into a corner, Zanka makes a move toward the female raider, but his footing gives way in a slick mud trap she had prepared. She taunts him, pointing out that he's the only one in the group who poses a real threat to her. Once he's taken down, the rest won't stand a chance. She's confident in his imminent defeat, but Zanka interrupts, telling her to start a podcast if she wants to keep talking so much. He admits that at first, he assumed she controlled the mud dolls with her shovel, while her partner used his vital instrument to attack. But after watching closely, he realized that assumption was wrong. The man, he points out, is just relying on his fists, while his true vital instrument appears to be his snowshoes, which let him move freely on solid ground. This explains why he moves without difficulty even on the muddy surface. Zanka mocks them, calling them the perfect pair, which visibly irritates the woman. She snaps at him to shut up, but he keeps going. Zanka tells them he may not have much experience fighting humans, but he understands his own vital instrument far better than they do. Because of that, he can pull off things they can't. The woman launches an attack, but Zanka slams his staff into the ground, sending a sonic wave rippling through the area. He listens carefully to how the vibrations change as they pass through the mud dolls, and when one reacts differently, he instantly identifies the male raider's hiding spot. Charging forward at full speed, he knocks the man unconscious in a single blow before striking the female as well. Her constructs crumble instantly, and Zanka calls them a pair of amateurs. Just then, the raiders' leader steps out from behind, saying that if Zanka wants a real challenge, he should face someone stronger.